Hey,
Hello,
how you doing, Tiffany?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Very good, very good. Enemy of Fate. Congratulations on your new EP. Well, came out earlier in the year. Settle the score. Can you tell me a little bit about it? And we'll go down track by track, and you could tell me a little bit about what your feelings are towards that song. Okay?
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Let's start it with the Breaking Benjamin cover, "Breathe." Why'd you pick that? And you know, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we were a few tracks in, and I definitely wanted to do a track that I dedicated to a family member that we lost to addiction. And it was a song that really hit home for me for a long time. And it was a very heartfelt tribute song. And it's really in support of um, fellow music lovers who continue to struggle with the disease and encouraging them to, you know, face those demons and work through the struggles that have held them back in their addiction, and that they have support and there are people that do love them and care for them. So that was kind of the driving force behind that particular track, and why it was so personal to me and so important that we took the opportunity to pay homage to Breaking Benjamin and to, as a remembrance to my family member.
Oh, cool. How about Dear Dad? I know that song's taken off, Dear Dad. It's very popular with the fans. Tell me a little bit about that track.
So that was our first track. I had never been in the studio before, prior to getting into the recording studio to produce and record Dear Dad.
Right,
And when I was given the opportunity to go into the studio, I wasn't sure what I was going to sing about. How do we build a track from absolutely nothing? So this was really a first experience for me.
right,
And so in the quiet of my home, one day I was just kind of sitting and in reflection, wanted our first release to be personal and heartfelt, and a story that I could share about my own life experience,
right,
and possibly help others who still struggle with, the lack of confidence, or why don't they love me, or why don't they want to be in my life, because that played an integral part of my upbringing and my development, and like self-reflection and self-doubt growing up
right,
as a kid. So I felt like it was an important story to tell, and share with others. And it really ended up being a very cathartic process for me.
right,
And I got to experience my own healing from writing. And in about an hour, I had fully written the track, Dear Dad. So it kind of was a letter of
right.
things that I needed to say aloud, to come full circle and really gather my own closure, which I wasn't expecting, but that's kind of what developed out of that song.
Right. Don't you
So
think
that's how we wrote Dear Dad.
a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
kids go through the same thing?
Yes, absolutely. When and it doesn't have to be a father, it can be just any absentee parent or role model in a child's life that electively or unelectively are not present. It does impact.
Right,
How could it not? We're in a society where this atypical, family environment consists of, a lead parent, a mother and a father,
right,
siblings. And when you're missing part of that structure, and you're not prepared, or it's not explained in a way that you can process in a healthy way, it immediately, for me anyway, was a
right,
self-reflection of, I'm not good enough. He
right,
didn't want me because there's something wrong with me. I wasn't loved. I wasn't wanted. And so I'm broken. And
right,
so that was a struggle for me growing up throughout my entire childhood. And it spilled over and carried into my adulthood, and the relationships that I created as foundations for myself and my own children. So,
right.
yeah, it was a long road of personal development and coming full circle and just accepting what is, and knowing that, for whatever reason, it isn't my cross to bear,
Right.
and that it's okay. I'm still an amazing person, and I am loved, and I'm worthy,
Cool.
of a healthy partner, and to have healthy relationships, um, even in spite of that.
Right, right. You think vice versa? It goes the other way too. Like, I'm closer to my son than my two daughters. And,
Mhm.
I always wonder, I know my son's special needs and he stays at home with me, but both of my daughters are out of the house, and I don't feel like I'm close enough to them compared to
Mm,
my son. I don't
mhm.
favor my son, but I kind of do, because he's with me.
Right. I have a son that is autistic,
Yeah,
and we are fortunate that he is very high functioning, and he's an independent liver. But growing up, you do tend, as a parent, you
right,
do tend to lean focus on the child that has more need,
right,
right?
yeah,
And so then the healthy, normal child becomes almost secondary, and it's
right,
not intentional or deliberate, but it is just the structure of your family.
right,
Um, I think a lot of it comes with communication. And
right,
so if you're having those active conversations with your children so that they understand that
right,
they are loved equally, that you care equally, that you're putting in equal effort, but that they have this sibling who has additional needs and requires additional focus.
right,
Um, I think children's natural compassion and empathy for others
right,
outweigh the dysfunctionality that comes with this kind of segregated line of siblings and parental attention.
right,
um but if you're not talking about those things and you leave a child to assume,
right,
they're always, naturally, as humans, we assume the worst. We're
right, yeah,
never taught or trained. It's not in our chemical makeup to assume the best,
right,
and
yeah,
so they're always going to lean towards the worst, has been my experience. So as long as we're doing our active part to say, I love you and
right,
I'm here for you and I'm present, that will carry leaps and bounds, will carry, the weight of gold.
right,
So yes, in a sense, if you're not doing your part as a parent, it
right,
can impact vice versa, even if it's in an unnatural situation.
right. Cool, cool. Let's go to Devil's Prey. Tell me a little
Yeah.
bit about that.
So I wrote Devil's Prey. Again, you'll find on our EP, Settle the
Uh-huh.
Score, was really reminiscent of my life history and having things to say, things
Right,
that I needed to get off my chest and share with the world for my own well-being, and because they're things that needed to be said to people that have impacted my life,
right,
that I didn't have an opportunity to say otherwise. So Devil's Prey was actually about a relationship crippled by domestic, physical, and mental violence and abuse.
right,
And so it was my way of acknowledging that experience in a healthy way, and being grateful that I was able to get out of that situation and that I could grow and develop and become a stronger version of myself, um, out of that situation. And wanting, again, people to know that even in your darkest hours, you have to dig deep and find the strength to get out. There's always a way out. You just have to trust. And when you're in those situations and those relationships, trust is the last thing that you have. For
right.
me anyway, I was broken down to nothing. I was, told how worthless I was.
Mhm.
Now, you add that on to, the absent parental experience that I grew up with in my life, it just
Right,
magnified. So, again, it was kind of a full circle story. Like, yeah, you broke me, but
right.
I rose regardless, and I will
Well,
continue to thrive. So,
cool, cool. Well, tell
yeah.
me a little bit about Family Tree, which is the video.
Yes, absolutely. So that's an interesting one. That one's kind of twofold. That one's really about the toxic dysfunction and of demanded hierarchy in the natural family order. When you have a matriarch of the family who is absolutely dysfunctional and toxic, and manipulates to preserve that matriarch status, um, to the detriment of their children and their children's children. That is really where that song came from in the storyline, based on that. And so when you're a strong individual and you challenge that matriarchal role in the process and the traditions of a family that is really crippled with toxicity and manipulation, it's not received well,
Right,
and you're punished and can be outcasted from the family, and always looked to as the black sheep. And um, so that speaks to family tree.
right. And Ghost of Me.
Yes, that's about self-reflection and really struggling to find inner peace in situations that you've caused fractured relationships with others. And while other people want to give you grace and accept the apology.
Right.
It's a struggle within that you're not really feeling worthy of accepting their grace and moving forward. So it's kind of a place of being stuck and not being able to let go. And also in circumstances where partners decide that it's not a healthy relationship and one is ready to sever ties and the other is not, and is still hanging on to this unhealthy relationship because they don't want to let go. The other partner's saying, you know, this isn't good. We have to end things here. So that's kind of what it's about.
How about Surrender, which is I guess a single now?
Yes, Surrender is our newest release. That just came out 2 weeks ago, and it's our sexy, seductive summertime track.
Right.
So it's really upbeat. It's empowering of a more feminine role when we're in that mood and it strikes and we want to be more dominant and have more of a playful dominant role
Right.
in with our partner. And it's a nod to our partners that are confident enough in their own skin to allow the feminine role to be more dominant in times of, you know, intimacy. So that's really what that track is about. It's just a sexy, seductive, I'm gonna ravish you and I want you to let me kind of track.
How'd you know you had vocal ability to, you know, come out?
You know, one of the favorite pastimes with my family was spending time around the radio, with an old school, you know, karaoke machine and passing the mic around to one another and just dancing in a living room and being together and having a good time. So that's where my love for music started, and for singing. It created, you know, a good time and good vibes and memories that will be with me always. And so it's something that I've always done as a pastime, but
Right.
not anything I thought I was worthy of doing professionally, right? Because we talk about that self-doubt and self-worth. And I never thought it of myself to be able to sing at a caliber professionally. And my husband has been my biggest cheerleader for years. He has been pushing me to do this. So I auditioned um, with his, you know, kind of kicking me out of my comfort zone, square through the field goal. Um, Sent me to LA to audition for The Voice in 2019. So I didn't make it past the first round, but I definitely had the judge engaged, and that sparked a fire inside of me to pursue it. And so I went back again after post COVID. They weren't doing live auditions. You had to do it on Zoom, and it was such a different process.
Right.
I wasn't comfortable. I wasn't confident singing to a laptop when it's just me and my own face in my own world. So, you know, that didn't pan out. And so I kind of tabled it and just thought, you know, this probably isn't for me.
Right.
And I just continued to do it more as a pastime. But my husband really pursued the professional side and continued to encourage, and an opportunity just kind of fell in my lap
Right.
to have a professional vocalist and guitarist and composer in front of me. And my husband kind of threw me again out of my comfort zone and dropped my name in as a vocalist. He was looking for a female vocalist for a track.
Right.
He had written, and my husband's like, well, you know, I got this great wife sitting next to me. And I'm like, oh, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
So we came back to the house, and I auditioned in front of him, and I made him turn his chair around like The Voice. And I'm like, you can't look at me while I'm singing. I'm too nervous. So I put on an Adele track and began to sing. And about 10 seconds in, he turned around. He's like, stop. That's all I need. We need to get you into the studio. So here I am. And
Well,
here we
cool.
are.
Great. Tell me a little bit about your record label.
Death.
Yes.
Death Records.
Yes.
So we actually have a music management company, my husband and I, and we oversee a number of metalcore, alt rock, new metal bands. And so one of our business partners is Death Records. So that's where the development of that record label came from, was from our business partner.
Cool, cool. Tell me a little bit about your youth and stuff like that in school. What kind of person were you in school?
I hated school. That's first. I hated it. I hated going. It was pulling teeth every day to get me out of bed to get up and go. I was definitely very much, you know, a tomboy. I was very athletic. I was not, you know, your stereotypical girly girl.
Right.
Wasn't into makeup, wasn't into hair, wasn't into clothes. It was just throw on my grubs and go out and play
Right.
until, the street lights came on and I had to go home. So that was kind of my pastime, was a lot of sports. I played a lot of baseball, softball, volleyball, you name it, rode bikes, broke arms, just your average kid running amok on the streets in the Bay Area.
Wow.
I was born and raised in San Francisco, and so that is home for me. And I was a Navy brat growing up, so we did move around every few years. We had to move
Right.
with the military, and but we always stayed anchored to California and always landed back home in the Bay Area. So as I got married and had kids, we migrated out of the Bay Area into smaller communities, and got landed closer to Sacramento. So that is home now, but San Francisco and the Bay Area will always be home.
Did you collect anything?
Do I collect anything?
Yeah.
Interesting. I do. I actually like to collect snow globes. My husband and I travel a lot, and so anywhere I go, I do collect snow globes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I used to paint. I did a lot of arts and crafts. I did painting, so I have a number of ceramic kiln fired pieces that I've done over the
Right.
past, but that's more arts and crafts, not so much of a collectible.
Right. Yeah. So like with your video and stuff like that, is image really meaningful to you when you're on stage and stuff like that, or just go up there and do your stuff?
I'm of the belief that if you're not going to show up with a performance for your audience,
Right.
why are they there? So
Yeah.
if you're not going to level up your live show and put a full package, production together for your fans, they can just stream you on
Right.
any website. So for me and for my band members, we absolutely show up. And
Right.
there is always a theme or a style to the imagery and what we're wearing and the video, that is playing on the background. It's a very well thought out process when we perform.
Cool. What's your feeling
And I think
about?
it's important for live shows.
Definitely. I think definitely, especially because I'm a photographer, I want to see something, so like it's important to me too, So what's your feeling about vinyl coming back?
I love it. I
Uh,
love the sounds. I love the scratch. I love the airy vibe that vinyl comes. Yes, absolutely. I'm all about it. I'm a big advocate. In fact, we're looking to, when our next EP comes out in the fall,
right.
I'm looking to do vinyl for our prior EPs. So I'm a huge advocate. Yes.
Cool. Tell me a little bit about touring. I know you got a show coming up, I think July 26th.
Yes. So we'll be headlining at the historic Chain Reaction in Anaheim.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll also be playing at Whiskey A Go Go in October.
Right.
So I'm really excited about those shows coming up and the opportunity to broaden our horizons. We'll actually be headlining at Chain Reaction in July on the 26th.
Cool.
We are going to be opening or co-headlining with Plush, who will be in Sacramento at the end of August. So we're really proud of that. It's a great alignment of music, and so I'm awe-inspired by their development and their growth. I know Plush just came off of a tour with Disturbed. So we're really excited to be working with them. We'll also be in Modesto. We're back up at Goldfield Roseville here in California. It's a 600-person capacity event hall.
Right.
We've been fortunate enough. It's one of the largest event halls in Northern California, next to Ace of Spades, which is 1,000+ capacity. So Goldfield Roseville is like next in line. So we're really excited to have gotten to play there twice, and we'll be back there in August for our third memorial show. My drummer's daughter unfortunately passed away unexpectedly, and so we're having a sponsored tribute show, benefit show in her honor. So we're really excited to bring it home and have like a really intimate, personal show then. So we're kind of all over. We're actually going to be also touring in October, making our stretch through Las Vegas after LA. At Whiskey A Go Go, we'll be headed to Vegas and then up to Reno and back around.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I just saw, actually, I photographed Plush about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, great.
They did a show in Jersey, sold out. couldn't even move in the place, you know, so like they put on a hell of a show. So congratulations on that one. You know,
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
we're really excited about that one.
cool. So any East Coast states?
Not yet, but they're in the works. We do have a booking agent who is actively looking, and we're looking to go anywhere and everywhere we can, you know, enjoy our fans. And we do have an abundance of fans on the East Coast. We have a number of fans in Canada that follow, and in Europe. So we're looking to make our moves and kind of working to map out those tour dates now. So it won't be too long from now.
That's good. Can you tell me anything about your merchandise?
We are actually working to get a custom trucker hat done. So that's kind of in the works, but we do have quite a few shirts that are available. We have a tank top for the ladies that like to layer flannels over top, and it's summertime.
Right.
So we do have a lovely tank top, and we have several t-shirts that are black. Some are just front print, some are front and back print, some are back only print. So
Right. Cool.
we have an abundance, and you can find that on our website.
Good, good. Settle the score. What are your hopes for this release?
Well, surrender's out. So we've for settled the score, just continuing to market our story and share our story and encourage and develop our fan base based on our very personal and intimate storytelling. And I think I believe confidently our tracks musically align with a number of really strong bands right now.
Right.
Sleep Fairy is one of them, Pop Evil. Family Tree was actually a nod to Ice Nine Kills because they're a very theatrical, you know, metal band. And so
Right.
that you'll hear some of the riffs are just kind of a nod to that band in this moment. So, you know, capitalizing on the fan base for those larger national bands is what we're looking to achieve, and just get to know our fan base personally. I
Right.
love to engage with our fans when they reach out or they tag us in a story. It's exciting. So just building that personal rapport and not just being another face or another video or another song on a stream site.
Right. Cool, cool. Is there a chance a new video coming too?
There is. We're actually going to be recording when we're at the Anaheim show. So we have a new song coming out. It will be releasing in September. It's called Runaway. And we will be shooting a video and taking a lot of the live feed as well from the Chain Reaction show on the 26th.
Cool.
So yes, so you'll see a little bit of the historic venue and some of us down in LA, you know, running amok on the streets.
Well, congratulations on your career and you know, all the great music you're putting out, and people are enjoying it and stuff like that. Would you like to say anything in conclusion to the fans out there?
Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate you, Brian, for taking the time to chat with me today. And to all the fans, you can find us on all of our socials, just about almost every platform at NME Fate Official. And we look forward to seeing you at a show soon.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.